Hello, good morning, and welcome to another episode of What Do We Do Now? A conversation about the live event industry. Today I'm joined by my co-host Tony. Tony, say hello.
Hello, Dave.
How are you, Tony?
I'm all good, thank you. The sun is back out, so I'm very happy. How about yourself? How are you doing today?
Not too bad, not too bad. And today our guest is Karen. Hello, Karen. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Dave. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yes, very well. Keeping out of trouble, you know. Let's start with the first question I always ask everybody, which is, how did you get your start in the live event industry? What's your origin story?
Well, mine's a little bit random, really, because I think, like most people of my age, we went to university not really knowing what we were going to do. I didn't have a plan. I just thought, I'll go to uni, do a degree, came out and fell into events. So I worked at a law firm and started to plan their small meetings, and I loved it. And then I luckily got a break and I covered a maternity position for a small events agency. And then I kind of just went on to my various roles then. So I was really lucky that I actually just fell into the job straight away, not really knowing what I want to do. But I think my law background meant that I was quite analytical and a bit of a planner. So I think that really helped with the decision to move into events.
Okay, so how
Fantastic.
did you sort of proceed from there? So obviously you started in law and then a maternity contract, and then what did you do? Are you in a position now? Are you freelance? Tell us a bit about how your journey has, ascended, really.
So after I did the maternity cover, and then I really luckily started to work at the Hilton Met in Birmingham. Absolutely loved that job. I was there for nearly over 4 years, and I was one of their planners. So all kinds of events, anything, small meetings, big, large scale Asian weddings, exhibitions, anything and everything. Loved the job, and just working in a hotel environment was so different because of that 24-hour nature of the business. Then I worked for the NEC Group. I worked at the ICC in the city centre, and again, love that job. I've been really lucky that I've had jobs that I really, really, really love and really enjoy. And at the ICC, I did a whole manner of things: dinners, exhibitions, full site lets, anything really, car launches, product launches, catwalks, anything and everything. And then after that, I decided that I actually wanted to look at the other side of the event. So I wanted to be the client. I wanted to understand what clients go through to plan an event. So how they venue find, how they find suppliers, and actually being the person that is the decision maker. Because I found that as much as you are a decision maker when you're at a venue, actually you're fulfilling the wishes of a client. So I wanted to be the other person and kind of understand that particular role. Then after 5 years there, I then decided to go freelance, because I felt that, well, it was the right time for me, but I also felt I had a bank of knowledge that meant I could see both sides of an event. And to be honest, I do love freelancing because it's a perfect work-life balance, for me. So I've been really lucky in my career path, and to get where I am now, I'm fortunate. So I'm really grateful for all the opportunities that I've had.
Wonderful. And where has that led you to now? What is it how do you spend your time mostly at the moment?
Well, funny you should ask that, Dave, because I am a lady who has lots of different hats on. And
I love lots of hats. It's always a good thing.
I've got a woolly hat. I've got this hat. No, so 2 years ago, I went freelance for myself. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. I can't talk about it anymore. I'm going to set up a company on my own and freelance. I loved it. I mean, it was great. It's scary. You don't really know what's going on. You just go for it. And so I've been doing that for 2 years. Then I did one particular event, a big outdoor show, and I met a couple of people that I got on really well with. So last year we set up another business called Event and Show Services. And that's more of an event consultancy. So I've got my own freelance stuff. Then as part of this business, we do event consultancy. Then during lockdown, I've been doing a little bit of event management training. So I've got 3 hats that all kind of feed into each other. So my role is definitely events, but just lots of different avenues of the event world.
Many strings to the bow, as it were, or a side hustle, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, I like to say side hustle. I think it just sounds more exciting, doesn't it?
How many acronyms do you get in there? So, with that, obviously you said that you've been doing some bits during lockdown. When did it actually hit you that things were going to change in that way?
Well, so I had a bit of a busy start to my year. So this is all relevant, by the way, just don't come waffling. My sister got married at the end of February, and then my other sister had her 40th birthday. So I had a wedding, and then I flew to Australia for my sister's 40th. So while I was in Australia, I noticed like all the lockdown restrictions had started over there. So we had lots of restrictions about getting onto the cruise that we went on, just even going through the airport. It took a long time. So that's when I kind of thought, oh, I think something's happening here. Like, and I'd kind of left the UK and nothing had really been mentioned. So when I was over there, like it was obviously something was happening. I came back a week or so later and went straight into a freelancing job, which only lasted 2 days, as it was meant to be sort of 2 or 3 weeks, because then everything stopped from that point. So I'd been away, came back, went to work, and literally within 2 days, that's it. All the work for that particular client had been pulled. And I literally just didn't go in the next day. I went in one day, did some work, went in the next day, then I just didn't go in, and I haven't been back since. So it was all a bit like, oh, this is all very, like, it was, to me, it felt really quick, because I suppose I'd been away and, you know, going to a wedding and things like that. It was all quick. So yeah, so that was like early March. And then after that, it was just like a big roller coaster of everything gradually changing.
And how do you think that sort of through all of this that your role will change? Like, I guess, is there something that you're experiencing right now, and how's it changed for the moment? But as things kind of progress and move on, and hopefully with a vaccine coming down the road at some point soon, hopefully sooner rather than later, how is that changing how you see your role?
Well, funny, I've been thinking about that actually in the last few weeks, and I've listened to quite a few webinars about, you know, the future events and the hybrid, the virtual side of things. And I think for me, my role personally as a logistics-based planner, I think that role is going to morph into more a producer and planner role as well, because I think we are going to be doing virtual events for at least, you know, the medium term. So I think the role that I'm in now, it can't stay as it is, because we won't have anything to plan. We won't have a venue to deal with. We won't have delegates to deal with. So I think actually, if you can train yourself or learn a little bit more about the virtual world, just even the words, like what people say to you, and a little bit of understanding about how the platform works, you're going to make yourself really beneficial to a client. So yeah, that's kind of the role that I'm thinking is where I need to move myself to. It's just more understanding of technical jargon that I have no idea about at the moment.
You and me both.
I just sit there and nod and go, yeah, I don't know what you're saying. Like, yeah, when I'm doing a virtual event in a couple of weeks, and I'm talking to the company that are hosting it, and I just think, oh my life, I don't understand what you're saying. Like, and I'm sure it's all very simple, and it is when you get onto the platform and you use it. But actually, when you then need to tell people about it, you need to understand that technical term to turn it into layman's language, to then be able to talk to your client or to talk to delegates and exhibitors and say, it's not scary, you just register here and then send stuff to us, that's it.
Yeah, making it all positive, and it's that communication as well. Yeah, but also having Google and notes taking on the side. What's that? So actually, with all those changes, like, are you actually wanting to stay within the industry, or has this time actually made you go, do you know what? I didn't sign up for that. I wanted to go. I might go down another avenue. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think probably like many people in the events world, we've had 4 months of a massive roller coaster of emotions. And at the start, it was like the pure panic of, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? Like, there's nothing. What am I going to do? How am I going to fill my time? And then you kind of have a breakthrough and go, you know what? It's going to be okay. Events will come back. Then you go, then it's all going to be virtual or hybrid, and I don't understand it. So then you feel then the pressure to either learn about that or to think, I don't want to do that. I've been doing as well, so I said, I've been doing some training, which has been a really good stopgap in this time, because I wanted to do that to actually give back to people and say, you know, the events industry is great, and this is what you need to do to get into it. And here are some like top tips and some courses that you can do, because it's kept me motivated all the way through it. I'm not sure whether I'm going to stay in it. I would think, for me, because I love this industry, I will stay in it. I think I just need to look at my role and kind of the direction that I'm now going in, that, you know, it's unlikely in the short to medium term that the kind of roles that I've been used to having, you know, full operational sites, I'm going to get. So actually I've then got to think, how am I going to get my work, and then what skills do the clients need? So I can't see myself doing anything else, to be honest, that I wouldn't know what to do really. So I'll have to have a complete rethink if I wasn't going to stay in this industry. I think,
Yeah.
you know, with events people, we are very adaptable, and that's our strength, that we look at a situation and go, you know what, we're going to make this work. And that's what I'm thinking now. Actually, there's lots of training you can do, there's lots of people that you chat to, so for me, I'm going to, you know, I've already done some training courses now, so I'm just going to fully embrace this change for now and make myself, you know, more knowledgeable, and then just see what happens in 6 months' time.
Yeah, for sure. I think playing on our kind of adaptability and playing on our flexibility, you know, we're able to turn up to any venue anywhere in the world and put a show on, put an event on, and I guess we kind of that's where we come from, and so we can still adapt fast enough to be able to keep doing that. As you look back over the kind of bits of learning that you've been involved in, like, is there anything that you can recommend to other people that you've thought has been great? Any webinars that kind of come to mind, or any of the other elements that you've read that you can just suggest for other people might be worth getting into?
Yeah, sure. One of the best ones that I've done webinar-wise is through the event training company. It's run by a guy called Rob Everly, and he is an event manager by trade, and he set up this company, and he's doing a lot of courses that are 2-hour webinars in the evening or in the day, and he goes through kind of how to understand an online event, like what it is, what you need to do to plan it, and just generally gives you a bit more confidence that, you know what, you can do this. It's just a little bit of different terminology. So that one I found really interesting. The training that I've been doing is through Sheer Edge Training, and we've done a lot of things on kind of marketing, because I think the role of an event person is going to change to more of this producer role, but I think also we need to understand about how to get people to come to your event. Like, how do you market it? How do we use social media? I mean, we're all now on, I mean, my screen time on my phone every week, I think, God, that's like going up every week, and probably everyone's the same, that we're on social media so much. Actually, doing a course to tell you how to use it better, and, you know, when to post, where to post, and how to post. I think those are probably two key areas that I would suggest to people that you have a look at. And then anything else that interests you, like if you've always had an interest in the production side, go and talk to people as well. Like, we've all got lots of colleagues that don't necessarily do what we do, so go and chat to them and say, how do you put on a virtual event? What would you do to market this event? Or how do you, you know, look at the branding? How do you manage delegate communication? All those things we need to know. And then if you've got an expert you can talk to. So yeah, that would be my top tips. Yeah, definitely do a couple of courses, and it'll make yourself feel better as well. I think that's the thing, that it'll boost your confidence that you can do this.
Yeah. And so, you know, with all that kind of information, all that learning, like, you know, the question I always ask is, do you think that live events will come back? And I suppose, in what sense? Will it be hybrid, as you mentioned? Will it just be virtual? Will it be, you know, just live or just virtual? So, yeah, do you think it'll come back this year or next year? Yeah. What are your thoughts on the timeline, and to what degree, really?
That is a conversation that I've had a lot with my colleagues over the last 4 months, that is it going to come back? When's it going to come back? And I think as an event professional, you want it to come back. Like, this is your industry, so you want it to come back. I want to get back to work straight away. I think the latest government guidance to say when they think events are going to take place, that's really promising, you know. And by doing pilot events as well, I think that will give us all an indication that if you do this, if this pilot event's a success and you follow all these guidelines, you can hold an event. So I think, for me, I think we've got to see how it runs. I'm going to sit on the fence, sorry, but I think we've got to see how all the pilots run first, and then take the information back from those pilots, because I've got a couple of clients that are still looking, that still want to hold their events this year, and they're all super excited. I said, yes, but yes, I'm excited, but let's see how this goes, what guidance comes out, because then you've got to then interpret that guidance for your event, and you don't know what that will mean. You don't know whether it's more kit you've got to buy, more staff, how you register them, and I think that's it. That let's be positive that this has happened, but let's just be cautious as well and wait till it's happened, and then we can implement what changes, because that might affect people's decision. That if you need to then go out and make sure that everybody's filled in a questionnaire, or everybody's got the correct app, or you've got extra staff, you've got extra sanitizer, all these things. Is that a cost on the event that the event can afford, or do you keep it as a virtual for this year and look to hold your live event next year? I'm working on a big outdoor show which was in 2021. It's Plantworks, and it's now been moved to 2022 for lots of reasons. But I think that is such a good idea, because that's going to give us 2 clear years to see how everybody else has been getting on, and what we need to put in place ready for that show to happen. So in summary, I'm hopeful events will start this year, but I'm on the fence as to whether they will. I think more likely is that they will start next year. I think this year will be the year of the hybrid and the virtual. And I think next year, I think next springtime, or maybe even the summer, we'll see live events starting, which I don't want to say because I really want to get back to work. But, as a gang of friends that I've got, you can put the best event on in the world, but actually if your delegates are still not comfortable, then they're not going to come in. And it's the same, like, we've said, haven't we, about going out for dinner and travelling, that, your restaurants can have everything in place. But if you think, I just don't want to go yet, we've got to wait, I think, for the public to feel happy. And whether that's we have to wait for a vaccine, I don't know. So I think we've got to do these trials, do the pilots and get the feedback, and then take the next step from there. So
I think that's such a brilliant way to look at it. I think, in a way, you're saying we can put on a much better show. As desperate as I am to go and do a recce, get on a plane, go and do a recce of a venue somewhere, kind of hold back, actually plan your event more thoroughly, take time over it, make sure you've considered all of the new ways of approaching these things, and actually sometimes putting it off a little bit might be a sensible approach to take. So it's really it's really insightful, actually. Thank you for that.
Very insightful.
The question I always finish with is, what was the best piece of work advice that you've ever been given? Or do you have like a mantra or something that you live by, or some kind of message for the industry?
2 things, really, I want to say here. That one of my old bosses at the Hilton, who I still see now, and we get on really well, he's a great guy, he's called Simon Price. He said to me when I first started in events, he said, don't worry if you don't get it first time. He said, when you run an event, particularly in a venue or for a particular client, he said, the first time you do it, you'll just get by. You'll be like, you'll get it done, and it'll be really stressful because you won't really understand what you're doing. You'll just get it done. He said, the second time you do it, you've got that experience. So you know the client, you know their expectations, you've worked in the venue before, and you're more confident. The third time you do it and predict and plan what the client's going to want or what could happen. So that always sticks with me. It's like, never panic about a situation, just do your best and then learn from it every time. So when you come to that situation again, you're like, I've seen that before, I've done that before, don't panic. And then if it ever comes up again, you've already thought about it. So in your planning, you already think that could happen, actually. Like if you're in London, the tubes could strike, or if you're in a big field in Peterborough, it could rain. So you have thought about all these things. I suppose the thing that I live by all the time, and is people buy from people. So you've just got to be yourself in every situation. Don't be anything that you're not. When you meet a client for the first time, just be yourself, because they're working with you as a person, so they're going to get on with you. So don't be scared about who you are, where you've come from, what your accent is, where you live. People are buying into you and what you can do from them. So have belief that you can do it. I'm a big hugger, not at the minute, but I am generally quite a big hugger. So when I meet people, I'm very tactile. But I think if it feels right, you do it, and you're not going to hug somebody that doesn't appreciate it. But I think you've just got to be yourself. If you would buy them a coffee, buy them a coffee. If you would hug them, do that. Don't feel that you can't do that. The events industry is very personable, and everybody knows everybody. So make sure that you are always true to who you are.
Yeah, amazing.
Brilliant. It's such a perfect place to finish. I think have confidence in yourself and be confident just to be who you are. That's a really, really nice place to finish. So thank you very much for taking this time to have a conversation with us. And goodbye for now.
Bye.
And bye from Tony.
Goodbye, everybody. Bye, Karen. Bye, Dave.
Bye.
Thanks again, guys. If we'd love to hear from other people across the industry, so please do get in touch if you'd like to join one of these conversations with us. But goodbye for now.